Here's a really interesting story. So, current Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, his approval rating has plummeted after the coronavirus and his response to the virus. As you guys know, he was unabashedly in favor of reopening. He was not. He even had come out and basically said that we're not going to slow down reopening or go backwards. We're just going to go full throttle, basically. And so his numbers have completely collapsed. So it says a poll by Mason-Dixon Polling and Strategy released Friday shows that 45% of respondents said that they disapproved of DeSantis' job performance, while 49% disapproved. This is a stark contrast from the last iteration of the survey in March, when 62% of Florida voters said that they approved of the job DeSantis was doing, with just 24% saying they disapproved. This has to be some kind of a record here, dude. Are you kidding me? He went from 62%, which is a super majority. Okay, that's a filibuster breaking number. Okay, obviously it's percentages, with just 24% saying they disapproved. That's flipped now to the point where he has a disapproval rating instead of an approval rating, 45 to 49. Now, this is really interesting to see. I do wish that Andrew Gillum had won the race. It's quite a tragedy that he did not emerge victorious in that race. Big loss for Florida, I would say. But it's interesting because I think this is going to have ramifications, or not ramifications. Well, it will be ramifications, but it's also an indication for the election upcoming here in the presidential race, and probably the way that it's going to go in terms of the state's election in the general. It's probably going to lean more towards Joe Biden. We all know that Ron DeSantis is very openly basically a Trump protege. He is somebody who is unabashedly just basically a Trump minion. And so once the election for president comes around, I think a lot of these people are going to be motivated to go out and vote for Joe Biden. And that's another thing, man. This is what I look at as the key difference. I feel like the Trump of 2017 and even 2018, man, I've never seen a flip around like this in my life. Except for, well, we're not going to get into that. But I haven't seen a flip around like this, ever. And, if you compare the odds of a Trump 2017-2018 candidate versus today's Joe Biden, instead of today's Trump, the late, 2019, early 2020 Trump versus today's Joe Biden, I think it's a stark difference. I think Biden would probably lose, but Trump has been motivating so many people who would otherwise be unmotivated to go out and vote for Joe Biden, or wouldn't vote for him, period, to do it. With Hillary, Obama was president, Trump was just talking shit out of his ass, and so no one really, no one had something to really remember that affected them like this. They're not going to forget, voters are not going to forget COVID, they're not going to forget George Floyd. We're already in basically August. We're basically in August right now. We're not that far out from the election, and there's no real rise in sight in terms of, now there's a big debate as to schools reopening. Trump's trying to force schools to reopen because he thinks it's going to help him with his election chances, which is it's not. And this article also touches on how Ron DeSantis is, in favor of it, going forward. And it's another Quinnipiac poll showed a similar decline in DeSantis' popularity. His governor's approval rating in that survey was 41%, while 52% of respondents said they disapproved of DeSantis' performance. So, this is crazy. That flip around is wow. But Ron DeSantis is completely incompetent. He is a total joke. He has no idea what he's doing, and he's a clown. And hopefully he gets voted out. But dude got elected just 2 years ago, so it's gonna be a while.